Hola, 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 beautiful people. It's me, Maris, and it is Wednesday. And it's always a good time for a little bit of wisdom. Urban crows, man, gosh, I had heard them just cackling um, all morning long. So I decided, well, I guess they really have something to say. So I'm lighting my sage here. So I pulled out my uh, Urban Crows deck, and that's what we're going to be using today. So kind of want to give a little post-election insight. And then at the end, I'm going to do a one-card draw from the Santa Muerte deck and just give us a little insight of things that we need to work on, whether it's by ourselves or a collective. So I am using the Urban Crows deck. Where's the front box? It's the Urban Crow Oracle by M. Jane Cullinane. I really like this deck. It's very what I would call black and white, and it is kind of black and white. There is not a lot of flowery or that kind of imagery. It gives you insight to the perspective from the crow. You know, crows can be low to the ground and crows can be way above us. So even think about it, you know, not only in logistics, but in metaphorics. But yeah, okay, it's kind of getting like a little stuck here. But this is that Urban Crows deck. I like using this deck. Okay, I'm like holding it in my lap. It's okay. I'm not, it's like I am supposed to stop resisting on this. This is what I'm getting. I'm getting like, okay, relax. And I was like, well, the cards were feeling super heavy just a moment ago. So I was like, oh, is this going to be like a negative message? And it's like, no, you know we're serious. This has been sticking out. So I'm going to start with that card. Because it's through all of the shuffling, that card like stuck out. Okay, well, I think it chose, don't go away. I think it chose a whole bunch for me. So, let's just ask if there's anything else. And that one. Any last words? Okay, so do you have something to eat, something to drink? Because there's quite a few cards here. Anything else? A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's it. All right, so I've got a handful of cards. I've got 2 already up. Let's go ahead and start this because I'm like, wow, we've got some interesting kind of energy coming in. So do me a favor, love this video, comment where you're watching from, you know, something cool, hey, you know, whatever. If you have a question, don't hesitate to ask that question, and let's flip it over. Okay, so the first card, this is the energy that's coming in, and I'm like kind of looking at this post-election here in the United States and wrath. And so we it's pretty well aware there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of rage. You can see it on social media, you can see it on the news. So that wrath is very, very, oh, hello. Very cool. What time of day is it in South Africa right now? So when we're looking at this wrath card, what I'm feeling is exactly what's kind of going on. There's a lot of unrest, a lot of uneasiness. many people are very unhappy with whatever is going on here in the political realm. Um, and it's just kind of setting this energy that's coming in or that's here. All right, when I'm looking at this caching here, what I'm thinking about is how I feel is that it is something that's along the lines of pulling out what you need. Now, let me clarify, okay, on that. It's kind of like you know that you're getting ready to go into something. You know, you're getting ready to go on a trip, or you're getting ready for the change of season, and you start kind of pulling out the appropriate things that you need that you've had held back or held back, nurturing, whatever, getting ready, and you need to go through and start pulling out some of those things that you need. I am feeling this is more of like season related, and not something like, oh, I got to go and pull the ammo out from the that we buried in the cellar. Okay, that's not what I'm feeling. What I'm feeling is kind of like starting to pull out the things that you need and get them ready, or the resources, the things that you use as the change. And I'm getting more of a change of season and not something nefarious along that lines. Okay, that's not what I'm picking up at this moment. Now, our help card right here. So, we were just looking at that caching card, and then when I'm looking at this balance through here, that is our help. This means, and I'm going to just put it just like this, very grateful that people are awakening. People are looking at things. Chance favors a prepared mind. That's my catchphrase. I love using that catchphrase because I totally believe it. And what we're seeing here is that people are in preparation. They are looking ahead. They are taking the time to expand their perspective and see things from all directions. So this is a really good energy. And I want us to focus on this, that regardless of the chaos and that wrath that's been going on, we are very, very balanced, and we do have some good focus and direction. So that was that first line. And so that's the energy coming in. And where is it sitting at? Influence. And then scavenge right here. And I'm like laughing my butt off. Scavenge is the obstacle. So I'm just going to kind of bring these two cards in together because they're very significant together. And it's kind of like they're okay by themselves, but when they come together, they're really super powerful. So what we're looking at here on that influence and scavenge, and I'm going to say, I want you guys to think about, if you're here in the U.S., I want you to think about the Civil War. And after the Civil War, when the Confederacy had lost, and we had like carpetbaggers and people coming in, and they were really taking advantage of the Southerners, just taking advantage of it, like they might as well just pillaged 5 times more because they were just doing financial brutalities is what I want to kind of look at it. And so when I'm looking at these two cards here, I'm not talking about people doing financial brutalities against you, but I'm going to talk about this is going to be the season of grifters. The season of grifters. So what we're looking at here when we're seeing that influence in that scavenge card is that we're looking at people that are going to be coming onto the scene that are going to be either playing off of your joy, your happiness, feeling really escalated, in a happy way, or they're going to really, really, really feed off of your fear. I don't know if you watch What We Do in the Shadows. I think I watch it on Hulu. I'm not sure what channel it's really on, but it's the little vampire show called What We Do in the Shadows. So beware of Colin Robinsons, because there's going to be a lot of Colin Robinsons coming around trying to suck your energy up. They're either going to feed off of your being ecstatic and happy, or they're going to be feeding off of your fear. Either way, they're going to come across, and what I feel like they're going to come across is like the social media influencers. You know, kind of like picking a lot of fights, picking a lot of arguments, making people feel agitated. And I'm going to give this example here, okay? I'm on a couple of social medias, and yeah, I can have a pretty sharp tongue. I'm not going to lie about that. But there are some things that I have to sit back and I look at, and I'm thinking, man, this is a spiritual issue. I'm not going to give them crap over a spiritual issue. Reason being that if you are oppressed by spirits or demons, whatever you want to call them, if you are spiritually oppressed, that's not 100% you. And a lot of times you would be totally mortified if you saw some of the things that, you know, if you were a person that was spiritually oppressed, and then when you're unoppressed and you see that, you're like, holy cow, what in the world was I doing? And I'm speaking as a person that was spiritually oppressed throughout the years. And when I look back, or people tell me stories of things that happened, I'm like, holy cow, I never realized those kind of things. And so when I look at a lot of these videos on social media, you know, the 4B videos and some other things, I really feel that there's a lot of spiritual manipulation within those videos. Maybe I feel like they are being manipulated, not like they're trying to manipulate me. But putting that to aside, when people go and start posting those videos making fun of them, creating a following, and this is what I'm talking about, and it's both sides, not just one side, it's both sides. People just tend to be kind of crummy to each other. They're doing that and they're feeding off the energy. Yeah, they get views. Yeah, they're probably getting paid for it. Don't feed into that energy. And that's what I'm looking at in here, is that you're going to be presented, and maybe for some of us, we're going to feel confronted with that energy, and just don't buy into it. It's not yours to own or to purchase, and there's that resistance. They're going to push just as hard, if not harder, in order to get a part of that, to get into that energy. They're going to try to really work you down. You have to be very, very resistant, and don't buy into the nonsense. Don't buy into the nonsense. Social media influencers, for the most part, there are some that are really, really good and really, really special, but the rest of them, I'm just telling you, they script read. They're going to push whatever they're being paid to push. And so be very, very mindful. Do some good research on your own so that you are well aware of everything around you. Now, where is this going to lead us to? And I'm like, a bright horizon. We see routine, so I'm going to say getting into a routine. And I'm laughing because I see we got these going this way, those going that way. Maybe one, you know, kind of slicking around in there. But pretty much it's, you're going to do your thing. They're going to do their thing. I'm going to do my thing. And we're all going to be what? We're going to be in harmony, because we look at that bond. And I'm going to say, you know, if we're referring back to the previous line, they want us to be in chaos. They want us arguing and being hateful and being crummy people to each other. And the obstacle here is that we overcome that, and we actually find a lot of common ground. We actually find a lot of common ground. Trickery is that, and this is over here on the help card, and most of us are going to go, Maris, how in the world is trickery a help? And I'm going to say it like this. Sometimes we have to fake it until we make it. Sometimes we have to pretend to be happy, to pretend to find common ground in order to find that common ground. And that's what I'm kind of feeling in there as that helps. Sometimes we got to fake it until we make it. I always want to remember in my own head here that there's always something that I do have in common with everybody that I don't have something in common with, that I don't agree with. There's something, that's a better way to phrase it. There's always something in common I have with the person that I might disagree with, whether it be something socially or politically or religiously or about sports stats or whatever. It doesn't make a difference. There's always something common that we share. So we've got our last little cards here, and I don't mean to say them like little cards because they're really not little cards. And where does this all kind of lead us to? And I'm like, it's really pretty interesting. But I like the gist of where things are going to lead us to. So let's take a look at that very last line of this particular reading. Okay, and we look at survival, and I'm going to say we fake it till we make it, and we actually make it. We get there. There is a little bit of a struggle. You can see in that distance part over there. I'm not looking at it as in logistics being far apart or distant, but I'm going to say that some people will just not be willing to find common ground and will move in a different direction. Like that one's looking there and these two are looking in that direction was one of it. The sun always will rise, and I'm going to say it's really not a bad thing. Many times people in our life were only meant to be there for a short time and nothing that is a long term. All of these relationships that we come across with, we learn something not only about ourselves, but about others. The final card in this Urban Crow reading is the Sacred Space. And the Sacred Space, that's the name of my studio, so I totally love that. For me, what I'm looking at this is that we get to a place of peace. We get to a place of balance. Right now, we just have to weather through some of this chaos, but understand it is important not to totally buy into anything. Do your research, look around, expand your perspective, understand things. And remember, when people are making those videos of them screaming and yelling, and I don't care what side they're on, they are oppressed. They're spiritually oppressed. And the best thing to do is just to pray for them or send them happy, healing energy, whatever it is that you do in that healing aspect. And be, it's not so much about being kind, but be kind. I mean, we really don't understand until we're in their shoes. And I know that a lot of people have been just knocked for a loop in many ways, and they're trying to get back into stable ground. And let's find something in common with them that we can help them stand up and be strong again. So now I said at the beginning of the reading that I was going to pull a Santa Muerte Oracle card. I got these in I got these when I was in New Orleans back in September. And it was a really cool experience because she's kind of bugged me for many years. I got sugar skulls and stuff all over. I like to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. And I've always very fascinated in what I'm going to call in her vibration. But of course, I'd always been kind of raised that in the spiritual world or whatever, that I'm probably not to, that she's not a good idea or whatever. And I didn't really feel that. But this deck bugged me the whole time that I was there, so I had to get it. And I paid twice the price, just saying. And, but I really like this deck. It is a very intense deck, and I just wanted to pull a card for you. I'm asking just to give us a card. Okay, there we go. It went sideways. And it is what I focused on was things that we as a people, we as a whole, need to work on. And she has presented a card for us, and let's take a look at it. A little bit closer so that you can see it a little bit better. And it's a very interesting card here. It's one of the cards that kind of gets us into the world of creations. And this straight up is the King of the Dead. And I can't pronounce his name, but it's something along the name of Mictlantecuhtli. And he is the King of the Dead in the afterlife. And his wife is what we would call Santa Muerte in more contemporary times. So when the Aztecs had met up with the Spanish, and the Spanish started incorporating Catholicism in, Santa Muerte became the feminine aspect of death. And so with this, it says it is very important when these cards come in that we have great discernment and we take the time to look deep into situations. We take time to look deep into situations and use discernment before we make judgment. And that's what the message is. So I'm going to say, I guess Santa Muerte thinks that we are being harsh and rash in our decisions without looking at the whole picture. Feeling guilty? I kind of am. So, peace, love, and harmony. I'll see you soon.